What's going on, Collider Games fans? I'm Caboose, and today what I got for you guys here is my official review for The Division 2. Now, the first Division game was interesting for me. I didn't love the story, and I didn't have a consistent group of friends to play with, yet I was absolutely addicted to it at launch. I got to max level, got all the best gear, and then one day I just stopped playing it. I heard so many great additions were added to the game since I stopped playing, and to my understanding, those features made the transition into The Division 2. A great loot system, phenomenal game mechanics, a fantastic online co-op atmosphere, and a damn good looking game. The looting is really well organized in The Division 2. Heading into my inventory didn't overwhelm me at all, like I was expecting it to, and it felt really good to earn some legendary gear. All the information you'd want to know about some new gear that you just obtained is right there for you, and I really love that. It helped that the game just relentlessly throws loot your way, and that works tenfold. What helps as well with the game when compared to other shooter looters that provide you with a ton of loot is that in this game, there is an extremely convenient way to just dismantle everything you don't need. With the exception, of course, if you want to sell an item rather than just dismantling it. It feels great to find that stash full of rare loot and slowly begin to build your character stats with each new gear piece. Where this system didn't really flourish in the beginnings of the first game, it is done really well in the sequel. Then we have the gameplay. This game runs picture perfect. There wasn't a moment where I felt things were too clunky or that I wasn't enjoying myself when a friend and I would be taking down waves of enemies. As you travel through the fairly sizable open world, you'll come to find that there is a consistent amount of things to do. The gunplay is great, the cover system is fantastic, and the different amount of weapons that you can unlock and equip are varied and a lot of fun to mix and match. So overall, from a gameplay standpoint, The Division 2 is running in tip-top shape. It also helps that the game just looks great. The environments can be fairly varied and pretty to look at. I wouldn't say that this is the best looking game on the current generation of consoles, but it definitely delivers in the graphics department. Speaking of playing co-op though, this is where The Division 2 excels the most. Gathering a group of friends to explore the open world can provide a lot of hours of entertainment, especially when running through some of the more difficult missions where you and your squad need to get really tactical and utilize the different gadgets and weaponry available to you. Playing co-op is definitely the most fun I've had in my time with this game, which actually leads me into my biggest problem with the game. Playing solo right now just isn't enjoyable. The game gets really challenging, and I mean that in the worst way possible. Luckily, this is something that can be fine-tuned in future updates. At least I'd hope so. While I myself have plenty of people to jump online and play with this game, others might not, or may just prefer the experience of playing this game on their own. And it would be incredibly flawed if The Division 2 relied on cooperative play to really let it shine. The story of The Division 2 is also just not very good, and this is what worried me the most in my time with playing the beta. As I uploaded my first impressions video, that was the one thing I was worried about, and, well, unfortunately my fears had come true. Continuing where we left off with the first game, the virus has spread, and now Washington, D.C. is on the brink of collapse, and it is your job to help prevent that. On surface level, it sounds like something really compelling could be told here, but due to being a mute character and not providing much depth to any of the other characters you interact with, the story just falls flat. I said this in my beta impressions. I'll reiterate once again that this whole muted character as the main protagonist that you play as needs to be a thing of the past. We gotta move forward in games and have the guy that you play as or the girl that you play as be a character that has a voice, that is completely involved in the story, and not just go get the mission from this person, go complete the mission, and rinse and repeat. No matter how good the Division 2 story could end up being, if I am the character that is a mute, I will always feel detached from the story. And the story of The Division is actually pretty cool. If you read into the lore, if you do a ton of research on it, everything sounds awesome. So on surface level, you read about The Division and it's like, wow, this game could actually be really cool. And then you jump in and you're some mute and you realize, well, there goes all the emotional attachment that I could have potentially had with the story. Listen, I know I just got over a pretty huge rant over the things that I didn't like in The Division 2, but all in all, it's actually a pleasant surprise for me. The things that I hoped wouldn't falter, like the story mode and playing on your own, unfortunately did, but the things that I expected to succeed, like the gameplay mechanics, the graphics, and the cooperative play, exceeded my expectations. with some fun endgame, things like the Dark Zone and some of the later missions that you'll run into, and of course raids planned as future additional content, The Division 2 is a world that I find value in returning to often in order to get the best loot possible. So I'm going to give The Division 2, surprisingly, an 8 out of 10. I would recommend picking this up. If you were a fan of the first game, you're definitely going to find a lot of value in The Division 2. In fact, it is a huge improvement, especially over the vanilla Division 1 that I remember. There is a lot more content in here to enjoy off of day one, and hopefully we can build from here and have a lot of great content to come for The Division 2. But now, we're going to kick it to you guys. Let us know your thoughts on this game in the comment section below. Did you enjoy The Division 2, or did you not? Let us know in the comments, and of course, if you enjoyed this review, a positive rating would be appreciated, and you can subscribe to the Collider Games channel if you haven't already, and while you're at it, you can follow us on Twitter at Collider Gaming, linked in the description. I've been Caboose, and I'll see you guys later.